I don't know how to start a video, but I'm hootless, and this is RimWorld, Peach Creek, Episode 1. So, before we get too far into things here, I'm going to rename, if I can find it, there we go. I'm going to rename each of these characters. So, we'll have Double D be the researcher. The grower can be Ed. Whoops. Ed. And our shooter will be Eddie. Not necessarily accurate to the show other than Double D being the research person, but you know what, that's fine. So we'll do it this way. Let's also unforbid everything. Well, oh my, okay, that's silver. I thought that was steel that we had 1,600 of, and I was like, whoa, that seems like a bit much. There's the steel. Alright, we have 511 steel, that's fine. So, how do we want to do this? We'll probably use this wall here as sort of a base. Something to build off of. What's this? No, that's... thought that was ore for a second. This is ore, though. Silver ore, nice. There's some, more silver there. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any plasteel. Which is really unfortunate, because on my previous worlds that I've been doing, there was like at least a few tiles of plasteel, even though I specifically embarked with some. And on this one, the one where I didn't embark with plasteel, there's none. How fun. Well, hopefully we'll be able to find some from like a trader. We'll see. Okay, let's start out with our sort of initial setup here that we always do. Let's unforbid the medicine first, real quick. Yeah. We'll assign manual priorities as well. Everybody gets to firefight, be a patient at 1. He gets to be a doctor at 1. Bed rest isn't too important for non-serious injuries. We'll do that. Negotiate level 2, that level 2, this. Basically, all of their skilled things go up to level 2. Things that need to be done are going to be level 3. Constructing is level 2. Repairing is level 1. And that's pretty much good. I don't want anybody handling hunting. Yeah, you can do hunting, Eddie. So we'll have Eddie pick up his gun right away. We will designate some structures to be built. We'll build off of this wall first. We'll extend all the way over and up. A little bit up. Yeah, we'll go up to there, and then over, down. We'll say... how much? Maybe sort of like this much? I don't want it to be too big. This is gonna be the freezer area. Let's say we'll split it further even. It's really difficult deciding this bit. We'll say like this. And then we can put a table here with some chairs, which means we want the door right there. So that'll be sort of the eating area. We'll also have the entrance going into the area right there. Or do we want the cooler over here? It's actually a better idea. So, the reasoning is, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, out 7, and then up. Okay, so we want the door and the cooler to be on this side, because this side is where all the grass is, so we'd be able to put the growing zones over here, whereas we can't put growing zones on top of the rock. So this way, we can have the growing zones as close as possible to the actual cooler. So that's that setup. We do want sort of an isolated hallway. Let's see. We don't want the cooler to be directly adjacent to a bedroom, because rooms share heat between them, like they distribute to try to even it out. And if we have the cooler, the freezer, right next to a bedroom, then that bedroom's always going to be cold. So we'll put a, whoops, not a door. We'll put a wall right there. Let's actually just bring it out this far. And then we'll say... build a bedroom there. Build... Damn. I don't have enough room to put 3 bedrooms here. I mean, I guess I could, like, pull it out from this wall, go up, and then have a tiny little corridor there. What if we made the rooms thinner? Then they get the cramped debuff, but then we can have rooms for each of them. So we'll do it like this. Those will be the 3 bedrooms, and we'll put down beds in each of them. There's those beds designated. We'll also say cut down all of the trees within this area, just so that there's no trees inside of our little hovel here. So this is going to be the initial workspace area. This could be a corridor leading off into like a further extension, just so that we can have more space. We'll probably put like mass storage and more workstations up there. Do we want to segment this off? Create another room here? We probably could. There's not a lot of reason to do so though. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. So they should all hop to. Yeah. Alright, so they'll get started on that. I'll also show off the wildlife panel really quick. I think I showed it off before, but you know, just again, really easy to designate hunting and taming for animals. So once we have our cooler set up, we will definitely do that. I'll put that right there. As it happens, it's 4, yeah. So this is an even number across, being 6 across. Which is handy. It means that, you know, things can look slightly neater. Temperature, we'll put 2 coolers in. We don't really need 2 coolers this early, but it means that if a heat wave strikes early, we won't get completely screwed over by it. That's one of the biggest issues that I have early on, is that heat waves tend to really just destroy my food stockpiles. As soon as this finishes getting constructed, I'll designate growing zones so that Ed can go and set all that up. I will also make a simple research bench right here. Furniture. Alright, good. They got all 3 beds put together. That's excellent. And we will put down a table and a chair. For some reason I wanted to say chable and tear. And I don't know how my brain messed that up, but it certainly did. Okay, so they have their beds all constructed. And it's kind of hot outside, 70 degrees. It's not really hot, it's just, you know, kind of warm, I guess. So they did construct their beds, which means they won't get negative debuffs for not sleeping in a bed. They will, at least Double D and Ed, will get negative happiness for sleeping outside, I assume. Needs. Yeah, slept outside. Eddie won't, though. Yeah, he didn't even get, like, slept in the dark, because I guess that's not a thing. I mean, you would want to sleep in the dark, so it makes sense that it's not really a thing. Joy deprived, hungry, that's fine. Yeah. We will set up a horseshoes pin outside. They can play with that next to the door, I guess. Whatever. We'll turn off the learning helper as usual. Ed is just wandering. There's a chair over here, but the table isn't constructed yet. There's no more trees for them to cut down, which is why they're idling. Like, I didn't designate any more trees, and that's their main thing. Ran out of wood, so they couldn't construct anything more, but now we have more wood. So that's the table going up. Hopefully they finish the walls. Ideally. And maybe the chairs. We don't really need 4 chairs right away. They don't typically eat at the same time anyways. So you can usually start out with like 1 or 2 chairs. And then, you know, people will alternate with their eating. But I want to get that all set up right now, rather than waiting. Yeah, they're all constructing a chair there. It's 2 chairs, 3 chairs done, and then a 4th chair. Perfect. So that has the steel done. We still have to get some wood to put into that, and more things need wood anyways, so I'll say chop these trees. So that's all squared away. I do wish they'd work on these a bit. Oh, they don't have components. Do we not have components? Okay, they were forbidden. I don't know why the items start out for forbade. I don't know, it doesn't really make sense that, you know, your items that you embark with are forbidden so that they can't interact with them. Just doesn't make sense. I'll put down a battery right there. Power conduits going into it. And that's one cooler done. This will be the cooler that actually cools down the room. So I'll have that go to 20 degrees Fahrenheit on the inside. And that's sort of everything beginning to come together. Looks like tomorrow we will set up the growing zones because they should be finished constructing the rooms. It would be nice for this to be finished, but it's not yet. Also, real quick, we'll set up a butcher's table. That one can go like right next to the door, basically. Right next to the cooler, I mean. So we'll set up that. We'll set up a stove, which would be nice to have next to this, but this is going to be a corridor up into the future area. So I won't put that there. I'll put it right here, actually. I would much rather have the stove right here so that I don't have to take the wires as far, and then the butcher table. And then what else? I don't think we really need anything else right now. I mean, we could put down a hand tailoring bench, which could be nice, but at the same time, it's not really necessary. We'll put down a torch there, a torch there, a torch here, and I don't know, a torch right here and a torch right here? Something like that. Okay, so this entire area is indoors now. Yes. So that's all indoors. They're all idle because there's no more wood as usual. So I'll have them cut down those trees and that and those trees. Perfect. Okay, so they should construct a bunch of the torches. I guess there was a wall piece not finished there. Perfect. I don't think I'll put down floors in here just yet, because floors are typically something that I don't put in right away. If we can manage to get some cloth, it would be nice. Let's also actually set up a stockpile in here for critical foods, medicine, and drugs are all going to go in there, and also animal corpses, because I always forget about animal corpses. So that's that. The stove is not complete. I'll designate toggle power so that it's off. Not that it matters because it doesn't have power anyways. But anyway, just in case, basically. I'm gonna have it do this. That should be able to bridge across there. The butcher's table is now complete. So it is time to designate all of the things to be hunted. Not emus. Not basically nothing that could potentially kill us. Kill our hunter. Because that happens pretty frequently where I designate something that I'm like, nah, that couldn't possibly kill my hunter. And then it kills my hunter. And then I'm left without anybody who has any offensive stats whatsoever. So I'll do all those. Basically, just, I'm not gonna designate the rats and squirrels to be hunted. But I will get, you know, all the bigger sort of animals. Not the wild boars, because they do have a chance to attack. Or they're like guaranteed to attack or something. So you have to kill those in one hit, and I don't want to make him rely on killing them in one hit. So we'll set up Butcher Forever. We'll set up Cook Simple Meal. Do until you have... We'll say do until you have 20 simple meals. So he's starting his hunting by killing a raccoon. That's fine. Visitor. A construction engineer from Orion Installation is visiting the colony. That's fine. There is that whole hospitality overhaul thing. It's pretty cool. But it's not going to impact us very, very much right now. We will say, however, we'll do 8x8s. So, like 4 8x8s should be more than enough. So 1 potato, 1 rice, 1 heel root, and 1, I'll say 1 corn. So Ed should get right on that. He's hauling. I like how it's Ed and then his profession is oaf, which just fits so well. But, okay, so Ed's gonna sort of butcher things whenever necessary. So we have a little bit of raccoon leather. But for the most part, he's gonna focus on farming at some point. Growing, I mean. Growing. Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be working on growing, he just isn't. That's fine, I guess. Steven's here is sleeping in our cooler, which is nice, I guess. I mean, whatever he's into. I can't imagine it's very comfortable sleeping in the 21 degrees inside of the cooler, though. Then again, he has the Orion exoskeleton, which appears to give him massive bonuses. That's pretty nice. Okay, so he went back to sleep in the cooler for whatever reason. Okay, not Wesselton, thank you. This place is going to be called Peach Creek. Perfect. Auto-saving, community is now known as Peach Creek, excellent. That doesn't actually seem to change the name of the save file. So, like, it's still going to be labeled Pottstown for whatever reason. It's really annoying that it doesn't change the name of the save file, because then I have to, like, use the timestamps of when it was last played to remember which colony is which. Also, it gives me Pottstown, like, a disproportionate amount of the time. I think, Dimsdale's official name was Pottstown, and then this one's name is Pottstown, and after I generated this one, I was starting up a new colony to play, like, off-screen, and that one also ended up being named Pottstown, but it couldn't use Pottstown because this one was, so it was just labeled Pottstown 2. I don't know why it does that, or if it's supposed to do that, and I just did something wrong, but it's weird, regardless. We got a little bit of our heel root planted. On one of my off-screen colonies, I actually set up a 10x10 area of potatoes to grow, and I ended up getting like 3 harvests before winter came, so I had 4,000 potatoes sitting in storage, which is ridiculously effective. I mean, you know, I didn't starve to death on that one. But, I don't know, it seems kind of crazy how many potatoes you get if it doesn't give you a blight. There's a local squirrel going mad. Hey, Eddie. What are you doing? Okay, you're just now hunting. Go stand out there. There we go. I assume you killed it. Yeah, there it is. So, I guess just undraft and go haul that squirrel into the freezer there. He's pretty good at shooting, as one would hope one person would be when they have level 20 shooting. Unfortunately, it seems like they decay a little bit. Like, now he has level 19. They decay quite quickly, in fact. Research screen, we're going to research gun turrets right away, because gun turrets are the easiest way to make a place safe. Just sort of like overall, they make it a lot safer. They can shoot so frequently and are so accurate and heavy hitting that really it's the safest way to get by in the early stages. At least as far as I've found. Ed chopped down a bunch of trees in order to plant more crops. I think that's the rice field. Yeah, it is. Okay, so we should get a wanderer at some point during the next episode, I think. We'll keep playing for a little bit. We're only at like 19 and a half minutes here. But things are going well so far. We got everything established here. We could use some torches next to the research table. Let's put one right there, and maybe one right there. You know, have things sort of more lit up. Maybe even toss one back here in the corner. So yeah, things are going pretty well. I've learned a trick recently. It's not like, it's not like the fishing trick in Stardew Valley where it's basically an exploit, but if you build, like if you're generating a lot of power, right? And you have batteries, and your batteries are full. You can put down additional batteries, let them fill up with power, and then uninstall the batteries, and that turns them into an item that can be stored in the stockpile, and it keeps the battery charged. So like, you could store power by building batteries, charging them up, and then turning them back into an item. And if like you ever have an energy shortage where it depletes all of the energy in your network, you still have those items that you can just reinstall, and then you have power again. So I'll probably use that a little bit. I don't know how much I'll use it because, we might not even get to that point. We might just die horribly of like a triple cold snap of blight. I don't know. Just suddenly drop down to negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be horrible. Barring something like that though, we should, fingers crossed, hopefully not jinxing it, but we should be able to make it at least to winter. Suda from Peach Creek was wandering nearby. He would like to join your colony for a while. We'll accept him. I mean, sometimes I like to turn away the first wanderer, now that it gives me the option because of one of the mods that I have. Because, they're pretty awful. Most of the time. This guy is neurotic, trigger happy, so he probably won't be our shooter at any point soon. I guess I could just have him be an artist, and other than that, just sort of be a hauling monkey. So, work on art, but if there's no art to be worked on, then haul and clean. Never negotiate, because you're bad at negotiating. Kind of. I guess Double D is better at negotiating, or the same at negotiating, but whatever. Set up defaults for that. No cooking, because you're bad at it. No animal handling, because we don't really need to tame animals just yet. Typical construction and repair, and mining and plant cutting, but other than that, you're just going to be cleaning and hauling for, like, the rest of your entire life. That does mean that we need another bed, though. Another bedroom, I should say. So, let's go ahead and construct... We might as well start constructing this area out. 5 long, sort of like that. So we will drag this across because we only need 2 wide for the things. Block that off. We'll deconstruct these walls shortly. For now, we'll put in like a door. I didn't mean to deconstruct that. Now this counts as outdoors. That's fine, I guess. It's not going to rain in there, so it's not like it really matters that much. So, we'll construct that room real quick. And we're running over 23 minutes now. So, just as soon as this gets completed, if we have enough wood... I don't think we do. Probably not. So, we'll finish that in the next episode. But for now, hope you guys are enjoying this new series so far. Things are going kind of well so far. Yeah, I'm saying so far a lot. But hope you guys are enjoying it. We'll rename Soda really quick. We'll say this'll be Johnny 2x4. Because of the first person that came to my mind. So if you guys are enjoying the series, remember to leave a like, leave a comment. If you aren't already subscribed, I really recommend it. It helps out a lot, and you get these videos straight to your inbox every day, 2 PM Pacific Standard Time. But beyond that, I'll see you guys all next time.